Natasha McLaughlin-Chaisson here, registered dietitian specialized in sports and nutrition and founder of NMC Nutrition. So for those of you who don't know, I am quite a believer in minimalism. And so not maybe to the extent of living out of my backpack or living in a tiny house, but I do very much appreciate that everything you own is your favorite, and just decluttering to save on time and money and focusing on experiences more than items. And so I'm very excited to have with us today Bri Bell, who is a registered dietitian joining us from Toronto, and her role is to help people simplify and save on time and money in the kitchen. And her website is Frugal, minimalistkitchen.com. And so Bri, thank you so much for being with us here today. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So a little bit about your background, if you don't mind explaining. So what got you into minimalism and so on?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always kind of been a little bit on the minimalist side, and a lot of it has to do with moving. I think I moved like over 17 times in like 8 years or something like that.
Okay.
It was a lot. So every time I moved, I was just like, this is too much stuff. And I got rid of a little bit more and a little bit more. I'm not an extreme minimalist by any means. I still have clutter and whatnot, but I try to keep it under control and just do a little bit here and there. And when I find something that doesn't fit my needs anymore, then I try and get rid of it, because the more times I like look at something or, have to deal with it and like move it here, move it there, oh, it just doesn't have a home, it's just like wasting my life. So those are the kinds of things. Yeah.
I love that. So, Bri, my big question for you is, how can athletes, of course, athletes are very limited on time, focusing, having to get their training in there, get family time in there, recovery, schooling, work. So how can athletes who are limited on time make their kitchen more efficient?
Yeah, so it's kind of what I like to do is just get back those tiny moments of lost time. So for instance, if you have, if you spend like say 2 minutes a day just searching for the lid to your water bottle or the lid to the plastic container to like store your lunch or whatever, any of those like little tiny things, it's lost, you're searching for the spice that you need for your recipe. Those little things really add up. So if it takes you only 2 minutes a day of time that you lose doing stuff like that, over a year, that's over 12 hours. Ouch. And that's per person too. So if everyone in your family is like losing that much time, like that's crazy. So those little incremental things, I think, are super important. So what you can do about stuff like that, I know Marie Kondo is so popular. I really like her, but I find her approach is very extreme. So she tells you to take everything out, like everything in your whole kitchen, and then sort through it all at once. But for most people, that's way too overwhelming and way too time consuming. So what I recommend is just start with a small area. So say you have a utensil drawer that's getting jammed every day. I'm sure we've all been there.
We all have that, yes.
Yes. So maybe you could be like, hey, do I really need 4 spatulas, or could I do with 1 or 2? Do I really need this cherry pitter when I only eat, it's used, maybe it's used only in cherry season. So in that case, it doesn't need to be in the main kitchen, right? You can have a storage area for like lessly used items if you really can't part with it, but it doesn't need to be cluttering up your main kitchen. So
I like that.
Those little tiny moments, it only takes a second to take out the other spatulas and just put them somewhere where you can donate them or give them to someone who needs them. Another place where time is often lost is cleaning. So imagine if you have like on your countertop, you have a microwave, you have a kettle, you have a toaster, you have a blender, you have a knife block, or like even like a canister with utensils. You have your spices sitting on top of your stove or whatever. All those little things are things that you have to like clean on and you have to clean around and under every single time that you cook. So I like to keep the countertops as clear as possible. And I get that you don't want to be like taking your toaster out of the cupboard every single day if you use it every day. Maybe the way that your kitchen's designed, it doesn't work very well, but take each item and assess them. Do you use it daily? Like if you make a smoothie every single day, maybe it's really worth it to keep that on the counter, but maybe you don't make tea every day, so you don't need the kettle out. Stuff like that. So wherever you can, cut back, and then that's like tiny things that you don't have to clean. Like if it's sitting beside the stove, it's going to get splattered, right? So then you have to clean it. So the less things you can have out, the better.
That's so smart.
Yeah. Like, and then another quick tip revolving around food is the same kind of thing. If you have a lot of like disorganized dry goods, or it's just like really packed to the rafters of like food, you don't really know what you have in there. You're going to waste food most likely. And also it's going to take you a lot of extra time every time you go grocery shopping, because, you know, if you make a list, you're going to have to sort, what do I have? What I have? You're like, you know, pulling one thing out, looking behind, what's there, what's not, how full is this box of cereal or whatever. So every single time you go grocery shopping, it's going to waste that kind of time. And if you are the type of person who doesn't even like to make a list and you just go shopping, you're probably going to end up buying duplicates of stuff. And you get to the store and you're trying to think, oh shoot, did I need like diced tomatoes, or did I need whole tomatoes? I can't remember which one I have at home. So then you might end up buying duplicates, or you might forget something. And then later it's like, shoot, I really need that for that recipe. You have to go to the store again. That's totally a waste of time.
Yes.
And I'm sure it happens to all of us, but even just a little bit of organization can help with that. So what I like to do is just tackle one small area at a time. So say you have like one shelf in your pantry, that seems to be like the biggest issue for you. Just tackle that one area. And then if there's anything in there that you find that's, you know, needs to get used up, or something that you're never going to even eat. So like if you're not going to eat it, don't eat it. If it's expired or like not good anymore, get rid of it. It's just cluttering your space. And if it's something that needs to get used up soon before you're going to use, before it goes bad, put that into your meal this coming week. So then it gets used up. And the thing I like about just tackling one shelf is that it's not so overwhelming, because what happens when you, like, if you're really out of control and your cupboards are just completely disorganized, it's just so overwhelming. And I feel like if you're the type of person who loves organization and that comes naturally to you, and, you know, I feel like if you like organization, it probably isn't going to be your problem, right? So
that's why I think it's fantastic, your approach to doing a little bit at a time, because I think most people see it as this huge mountain. And so they say, I don't have the time to give a full day to just redoing my whole kitchen. So I really like that approach of a little bit, you know, 5 minutes here and there, just to make sure that you're decluttering and maximizing on what you do have so that you can save time in the long run.
Exactly. So it's just gonna be tiny incremental improvements over time that's gonna add up. So as quickly as you can lose those few minutes a day, you can also gain those few minutes a day back.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. I love that. Now, for athletes who want to know more, I know that I've looked through your blog. There's fantastic advice on there. Which tips, resources, if they're looking for more information on frugal, minimalistic kitchens and how they can maximize on their efficiency, where can they find you and how can they find that information?
Yeah, so I have, like you mentioned, my website, frugal-minimalistkitchen.com. And I also have a free resource library that has like a minimalist decluttering checklist, pantry staples, printables, kitchen tools for minimalists, like all these kinds of checklists and worksheets that's going to help you organize what you need to. So that's all totally free, and you can just put the link below for them to go there if that's what they want to do.
Yes, I will definitely put the link below in this description of this video. So, thanks again for being with us, Bri. Really appreciate it. Merci à ceux qui ont pris le temps de visionner aussi et de partager. If you want more videos like this, everyone feel free to visit my YouTube channel, Natasha McLaughlin-Chaisson, for more videos. And everyone, please remember, nutrition is a science, not an opinion.